All right, you got to do what you got to do. All
Yeah,
right.
you gotta do what you do.
How about the players and people in the 49ers organization whose stock is falling after this win? Someone's stock's got to go down.
Let's start with Jake Brendel. Jake Brendel's out with a
Yeah.
hamstring. Matt Hennessy
Hope he's
came in.
okay.
Yeah, I hope he gets healthy really quickly and comes back as a backup. And I hope Matt Hennessy takes this job and never gives it back. I hope he's much better than Jake Brendel, but I think his stock is down. If Matt Hennessy can show the 49ers that he's better than Jake Brendel, we're never going to see him again. So stock down.
Demarcus Robinson, my goodness.
Yeah, rough.
I mean, he was one of their most important free agent signings this offseason. They hyped him up all offseason. He was there in training camp. He pretty much did well in training camp and looked decent to decent plus in preseason. He missed 3 games due to suspension, and now he doesn't know how to catch a football. Just can't. He has no hands. They're just not there.
Yeah.
Pretty rough.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and I think the obvious one, really, I mean, Paulie, I see you, Paulie. You know what's coming. It's got to be said. The more Mac Jones wins games for the 49ers, the further Brock Purdy's stock goes down.
That's true.
That's just true, man. And I do think Brock's a good,
because Mac's not showing that he's worth 265. He's showing that Brock's not worth 265. That's what's happening.
Exactly. Yeah. So
that's
not that Brock's getting worse or anything like that. It's just that's the reality. Mac Jones,
it was a bubble, and like Mac's showing that it was just it was a bubble. You don't need to spend this much money on this asset. He'll prove it.
Yeah.
Week in and week out. Yeah. Juwan Jennings, alligator arm, that pass over the middle got picked. He did all that yapping last week to get the ball, got a bunch of targets, did a bunch of nothing with it. Doesn't look like he's in the shape he was in last year, which really shouldn't come as a surprise. I mean, he sat out training camp. They said he had a calf injury. Maybe he did, but he looks like a guy who had a calf injury or just didn't go to training camp. Last year when he was so good, he didn't miss any training camp. That guy was dialed the hell in thinking he was going to get a contract extension, which he didn't get. Sorry, Juwan.
Yeah, I've always liked Juwan. I loved his attitude, the way he blocks, all of that. And I think Juwan being a little bit more healthier this week probably contributed to Christian McCaffrey's success in the run game a little bit, his ability to block. But also there's part of me that wants to move on from the Brandon Ayuk and Juwan Jennings of the old 49ers, because I feel like outside of those two guys, not that, like, don't get me wrong, it's not that they're like bad dudes or that toxic, but it's just kind of that old era of guys that it's a little funky. I don't know how to really explain it. The dynamics are a little bit funky, and I would like to move on. Like,
they both have like beef with the organization, and their beef could be legitimate, but it's like you got to move on as a team, and that stuff's not helping anymore.
Yeah, that's how I look at it, and they've been trying to trade Brandon Ayuk the last 2 off seasons, so would not surprise me if they trade Brandon Ayuk in this offseason. Or it wouldn't surprise me if B.I. and Juwan are both gone.
I agree. Wasn't it interesting how Fred Warner was at the game in a booth with his wife and son, and they put him on the big jumbotron and standing ovation for him, and after the game, he's in the locker room. Like, he really wanted to make his presence felt. Like, I'm here. I'm still a leader on this team, and I'm going to provide emotional support and pump up the crowd. Everything. Yeah. I'm still taking my job as leader seriously. Brandon was also at the game in a box. Didn't seem like he was wearing Niner stuff. Maybe he was. Camera didn't pan over to him. Like, no one in the organization is trying to hype up the crowd saying Brandon's coming back in a few weeks. Like, none of that, man. I mean, am I the only one that noticed that?
No, you're not. I mean, Fred Warner is one of a kind, man. Like, best linebacker in the NFL, one of the best leaders that you could ask for. I was watching a press conference of him the other week, and my son and his girlfriend, they had some girls come in, and they're like, "Who's that?" Like, he has everything, right? He's got the look, he's got the performance on, he's got everything, man. Fred Warner's one of a kind, and yeah, BA. He's just not the leader that Fred Warner is. I mean, Fred Warner is the 49ers. Him and George Kittle. That's why I said last week, like, I'm open to trading anybody on the 49ers outside of Fred Warner and George Kittle. They are the 49ers. That's the offense and that's the defense.
You know what Fred Warner's number one attribute is in life? His beard. Good beard.
He looked yeah,
Such a
look at you. And
beard.
I take credit for your new beard because I said like 2 weeks ago, I noticed the stubble. I feel like you could have grown a good beard, and I'm proud of you for taking that step forward.
Oh, I appreciate it. We'll see
Yeah,
how it goes. I'm still like in that in between phase where it hasn't really grown out, and I have to commit to it. So I've never committed to a beard in my life. We'll see. I'm a
I
hairy
think you
guy.
I think you can make it happen.
Prize Picks will give you $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. Win or lose, you'll get $50 for playing. Use promo code COHN, COHN, and download the app now. I think I can make it happen. Dazza says, do you think they were forcing the ball to Jennings yesterday? Tonjes and Bourne have been better the last couple of weeks. Yeah, man. What the hell was that? Tonjes and Bourne have been playing well, and you practically erase both of them from the offense so you can force the ball, or I don't know what verb you want to use, for Jennings. I didn't
Look,
like it.
Jennings was the replacement for Bourne when Bourne left. That's what Jennings. That's the role that Jennings stepped in and filled. I think you give it back to Bourne, man. I'm sorry. I just like Bourne's. I mean, I like Jawan, man. I've always liked him. It's just Bourne is. He may not be the blocker that Jawan Jennings is, but I like Bourne, man. I would go with him. I like his attitude. I like the energy he brings to the team. I think it's contagious. I think it's good for the 49ers.
It does feel like a repeat of last year. Like Deebo Samuel not playing great, knows he's kind of on the way out, frustrated, really more concerned about his own stats than team's success because he's on the way out. So he complains, acts out, does something on the sideline, gets rewarded. That's
Yeah.
kind of what happened with Jawan, man. Yelled at the coach, talked about having 5 broken ribs, got rewarded. Didn't really help the team. So Kyle, Brian has you top 3 right now in the organization. I had you a little bit outside. This is one of the things you could work on. And you're doing a really good job. And you're responsible for guys who are in the top 3, but you don't reward this kind of behavior. And you do. So you shouldn't.
You know, the Niners are still there's still a complete game missing for the 49ers where the running game is on point, the passing game is on point, the defense is getting interceptions. I just thought I'd mention that because it feels like something that I still want to see before I'm like, hey, this is a contender. At 20 points per game, I'm not buying it yet. I'm not buying it yet. And I know everyone's injured and they could work it out when everyone comes back, but it hasn't happened yet.
What's funny is, I could be wrong. I think I'm right, though. If you go back to 2022, that 2022 team, they had D'Amico. They had a good defense. They had a hell of a defense. They were scoring about 20 points per game because they couldn't run the ball. They got Jimmy Garoppolo. They were winning, but it was very close games. They lost to Marcus Mariota. They couldn't run the ball, so they made a trade for a running back. I forget his name, but it worked out. The Niners are in a very similar situation right now. You're winning games, not scoring a lot of points. You can't run the ball, although you did in this last game. See what happens in the next 2. Maybe they could go trade for Christian McCaffrey. Is he available? They should go get Christian, man. He's so good.
Luke is available.
Get Luke.
Yeah, maybe they get Luke.
Max Build Fix says Mac was ready to cuss his line out after a few of those hits. Look painful. GTC Real says Mac and Brock are good, but Mac has the arm to thread those throws in. If it were not for Tonjes, Brock is 0-2. Ryan, stop being such an Eeyore.
What am I doing? What did I do? GTC. I don't understand.
Dazza says, given the vets in the locker room have a large say in what happens, the vets may want to roll with Mac. I don't think it's a choice right now. I think it's just as simple as Brock's hurt. That choice will meet them at the crossroads, but I'm not sure if they've reached that yet. Maybe I'm wrong. All day, every day, Kim says, what if Mac 10 gets in the top 100? You're such a shit disturber all day, every day, Kim, and I'm here for it all day, every day. GTC Real says Brendel hurt is a blessing run game. I don't think it's fair to say that. I saw a lot of that on Twitter last night. Like, I'm celebrating that Jake Brendel got hurt.
Nah,
It's
never
in
do
bad
that.
taste.
Yeah, never do that. Yeah, GTC.
Don't do
Quit
that.
being an Eeyore. Quit being an Eeyore with
Yeah,
that team.
GTC. SF Bay Drummer says, hey, Grant, food places to go to when you come to Houston. 1, Breakfast Club. 2, Frenchie's on Scott Street. Thank you very much. I'm accepting all recommendations at this time. All day, every day, Kim says, Mac used to not playing with talent in the league. That is true. Brock's not. Well, he's getting used to it. K-Star says if the Niners would have not given Purdy that contract, there would be no discussions when he plays bad. Just put Mac back in. No quarterback controversy. If only someone had said.
A couple guys.
Couple guys. Josh B says dedicate a segment to Eddie P while he was available. There's only so much you can say about a kicker, but I do want to say every show, shout out Eddie P. You're great. We love you.
Yeah, man.
One of the best stories in the league right now. Ace Trey says, do not start Purdy against the Texans. They have a top 3 defense, and our O-line sucks. Purdy don't get the ball out fast enough to start against the Texans. I essentially agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, that's been Purdy's. I don't know what's changed with Brock, but yeah, he's taking forever to get the ball out. When he played quick, got the ball out, took what was available, he played great. He needs to get back to that.
It's your fault. You called him a dink and dunk quarterback, and he took it to heart. And he took that personally. Crazy Rod 16 says it's good waking up knowing the Niners got a run game again. However, split the carries. 70-30 for CMC and BJ. Need CMC healthy for the playoffs. That is true, man. Like, if you're going to do anything in the playoffs, you got to stop with the CMC usage. It's a terrible word. Michael says, Jalen Waddle reunited with Mac. Oh, now you're thinking. I like that idea, but they paid him, right?
I think so.
How about Brandon Ayuk for Jalen Waddle? Who says no? Okay, Miami says no.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we tried. Rashid Shaheed, he's also got some speed. Would be huge upgrades over our depth at wide receiver we have now. Well, theoretically, Pearsall comes back. Let's see if he can stay healthy for 2 games.
But here's the thing: they still need a wide receiver 1. They don't have one on the team. They don't have a wide receiver 1. They don't. I think Ricky is a really good wide receiver 2. Kendrick's a wide receiver 3. Brandon Ayuk. I think people need to stop thinking Brandon Ayuk's going to come back and be Brandon Ayuk this year. If he comes back, I think it'll be 80% of himself. Even when he's 100% healthy, it's going to take him some time. So, like, if the 49ers win these next 2 games and they start cooking offensively, a wide receiver, a really top-notch wide receiver could be the move.
If the Niners didn't have every intention of trading Brandon Ayuk, don't you think they'd be hyping up his return to the fan base? Don't forget who's coming back. Don't forget who we're paying $30 million a year to. No, they're like, forget. Please forget. Yeah, don't ever think about that. Leave your Brandon Ayuk jerseys at home. Kevin Spencer says, do y'all think D'Amico will be a threat because of his familiarity with Kyle?
Yes.
Yeah. GTC Real says, as J.R. Smith would say, the Henny is undefeated.
Can I say
Sunday Living says, with
can I say
Kittle 28 carries. What'd you say?
I don't know if I mentioned it on the show, but I'm sorry, but the Texans, D'Amico Ryans has this team at like 12.7 points per game, which is number 1 in the NFL by 5 points per game.
Yeah. Sunday Living says, with Kittle, 28 carries, 151 yards, 2 TDs, 1.4 yards before contact. Without Kittle, 6 carries, 12 yards, negative 2.1 yards before contact. We def with Kittle. He's our best blocker. We different with Kittle. He's our best blocker. Yeah. And what's crazy is like 1.4 yards before contact isn't even that great. But without him, it's just abysmal. Yeah. So shout out to George for just pushing people around. Sunday Living says, happy 80th birthday to E. Norma. Ooh, I almost said it. But I didn't. But I didn't say it.
Yeah.
Can't get me.
That's hilarious.
All right, man. It's 11:15. Been doing this show for way too long, man. Thanks for watching. Ryan, it's always a pleasure to have you on every Monday, man. Thank you for being here.
Yes, sir.
Peace.